I'd like to ask the Minister for Education, Sport and Culture when the revisions to student grants and loans will be brought to Tynwald.
On the Minister for Education, Sport and Culture to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. The Department is currently drafting new student award regulations which would detail the grants and loans that will be available to students for the academic year 2019 to 2020. It is hoped to bring those to April sitting of Tynwald for approval. The Department had previously been looking at going out to consultation on student awards and assisting families in low to middle incomes by using money with the then budget. But with the now approved additional £1.5 million to help those families on low and middle incomes, we have not gone ahead with that consultation.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. Can I just ask the Minister, obviously this has been discussed in this court since late end of 2017. Which member's been responsible for bringing this forward? And also, can he confirm, or at this point, what the current combined earnings is going to be for any new scheme brought forward? We have a number of people concerned about how they're going to go forward with this. And I'd also don't understand when the Minister in his his programme for government speech in November said he would shortly be bringing a public consultation that will run for 7 weeks. So he's now saying he's gone against his programme for government speech, and I wonder why the public are not getting a say or a consultation on this matter.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I think with the additional £1.5 million to help those families on low to middle incomes, I think that's the main reason why we've done it that way. We were having to think about how we were going to use the existing budget, which may have been detrimental to what some other people were accessing at the time. This money actually helps those families. It's been across the department. My colleague Mr Hooper has been working hard on this about different options that the department has looked at. At the moment, as I've said in my answer, we are finalising those regulations, which will hopefully come to April Tynwald for approval.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I totally appreciate that you've received additional income from the budget, which is great. But are we just throwing money at a system that you haven't reviewed properly? If you're not going to go out to consultation, how do the people that gave you information previously know that you've actually listened to their concerns and that you're addressing all of the concerns?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I'm getting confused with the Honourable Member. Only yesterday she was saying that we need to be helping those people on low and middle incomes of how they're going to go to university. We're coming forward with proposals to help those people, and yet we're still getting this criticism about what we're providing. If we were to do it within the previous existing budget, there would be winners and losers. It may have been that we would have to look at actually turning what was a £7,000 grant into a loan to help those people on lower income with more of a maintenance grant. But what we're actually being able to do now is to keep that grant for the people who have already got it. We've been able to look at actually assisting those families who have not been able to send their children to university because they cannot afford the maintenance. So what the department has actually done, with the help of Treasury and Council of Ministers, is to actually bring something forward, hopefully for April, which will help those children that the Honourable Member says that she's trying to help.
Supplementary question, Dr Allinson.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy President. I'd like to thank the Minister for the good news today, that he's widening the access to university places for all children on this island and all young people. Could he confirm that if he's successful in bringing this to Tynwald in April, these changes will apply to the new cohort starting university in September this year?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I'm pleased to advise that this will be for the next cohort going to university this year.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'd just like to ask the Minister, because I do have a breakdown of his student grant budget going back to 2013-14. In 2013, there was £13.5 million in the student grant budget, and people felt happier with the system at that point. The The department in 17-18 was only £10 million. So where did that other £3 million go, and why wasn't it still available to the people of the island? And he didn't answer my previous question, and perhaps he can't until the regulation comes forward, but is it going to be a significant shift in the allowance for maintenance for families?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I haven't got the figures on the finances the Honourable Member referred to, and yes, I would say it is a significant assistance for those people on low incomes.
Final supplementary on this question, Mrs Lord Brenham.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I would like to ask the Minister if he might, in considering any revisions, look at the status of independent students. What I'm really driving at is those students who perhaps don't have the parental support but have a wish to go to university. I'm not expecting any major answers, but perhaps if it might provide an opportunity to look at targeting some specific support for that, if he'd consider it. Thank you.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. There are areas that independent students are already assisted.